Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another Scaling Deep podcast episode. And I'm super excited today because I am taking off on a jet plane to Costa Rica, which is a big deal because I haven't been on a big trip without my family and without my laptop for a very long time. It's a big deal for someone who used to travel a ton. I've been to 25 countries. Probably most of them I did before I was in my mid 30s. And then I settled into family life. So it's not quite the same. And I'm going with my sister, and she's a great traveler as well. And I'm really excited because it's really a big deal to not have to go somewhere where you have to kind of meal plan, get people to bed on time, kind of make sure, worry about other people. And also the non-laptop thing is just huge now. I know part of me is going to be like, oh, I just wish like I could just write this blog post while I'm here because I'm feeling so inspired. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to resist and I'm going to leave it home and totally chill out. Well, not completely chill because I'm not all about chilling out. I like adventure. I want to do some hiking and I want to do some exploring and I just want to be open to whatever comes up. But stay away from it long enough so that I come back with a ton of inspiration and feeling so rejuvenated from being away from things that I can come back with total productivity and fast decision making and implementation, because that's what I feel it's all about. But before that, I had a really important topic that I wanted to bring up with you today. And if you saw the title, you know that it's going to be a juicy one. And it was completely inspired by two things. So one, I know I've been talking a ton about sales recently in the last, 4 or 5 months. And this is especially because when we are growing one-to-many programs like memberships, we have to be super comfortable with sales. We have to figure out the sales equation and we have to figure it out for ourselves, which is a big deal. And it's going to be really hard for some people. And I think it's like something we got to figure out. We got to nail, we got to get clear on, and we got to explore, or we're just not going to be able to sell. Like we're just not going to be able to. So it's so important. And secondly, this fine line between like ethical sales and non-spammy sales and all this stuff has just been like really important to me because I've been grappling with it for so long, but not really coming up with any clarity on that. And that's been causing a lot of havoc in my business and not being able to sell consistently, or thinking that sales is all about showing the content and sharing all the things I know. And it's not, like, that stuff doesn't actually help people get confident to buy from us. And so that's where I had this conversation yesterday that made everything sort of gel for me in terms of what was I resisting for so long and now what's working for me, and why does it feel so good and right, whereas before I used to think it would be unethical or icky. And you know what? She nailed it. She was telling me a story about how she had bought a course from a fairly big influencer in the online business world. And she was excited about this one angle of this course. And when she opened it up, she saw all these pictures of this person, like in different outfits, in nice locations. And she was like, it was just so narcissistic. And I thought, that's it. That's what makes the big difference between taking what we were selling and using sales psychology and using techniques that actually help people like envision themselves taking action and getting excited and helping them feel safe and confident. The difference between all that stuff and the extra level of ickiness is, I think, comes down to some of that. So let's break this down a little bit, because what I think that we are resisting is that like other line of things where we just feel like it's gone too far. It's made me feel either like I'm drooling for something, or this person has something so amazing and I can't have it, like this status thing. making us feel like, oh, we want to buy into that vision of somebody else in their life. That's a little bit different than helping people sink into their own. And that is a line that I think crossing is questionable. Showing the lifestyle, showing the glam, showing the, hey, don't you want to be like this too, to me is a bit of an ethical boundary. But that doesn't mean that using other sales psychology is an ethical boundary, which is what I've talked about before, what I'm going to be sharing in my upcoming Level Up Your Sales workshop, which is going to cover a lot of these components of how to run an effective training that is designed to, as a sales tool, to get people to know who we are and feel comfortable buying. And those are things like price anchoring and dealing with objections and doing a lot of storytelling and, and all these other components that are really just diving into the value in different ways, but are not necessarily tantalizing people on this really base level of reaction that we're going to evoke when we start sharing the us and them kind of thing. And to me, that is it's a fine line. So what happens is when we are spending our whole life being turned off by that and frustrated about all that stuff, that's the way that people are positioning themselves and products and all that in the market. It's no different than having like pictures of beautiful women selling things, or thin women, or whatever this over made up women, or whatever the style of the day, sentiment of the day seems to be of what people consider attractive. The way that the products and that are positioned based on those kinds of attributes, that to me is the stuff that we really resist. And so what happens is we want to stay so far away from that we put everything that people are doing to sell in the same bucket and saying it's all icky. It's all I'm not comfortable with it. I don't like being sold to that way. It makes me feel crappy, but I still sometimes want to buy into it. And why does this work? And it makes us as business owners question all that and not want to do it. And then what happens is that we don't do any of those really good things because we're so afraid of crossing that really thin line between really strong sales and then icky, narcissistic, questionable stuff that is using tactics that are so subconscious, that evoke so many emotions that really just we don't want to do. And we don't want to be seen that way, or we don't want to come across that way because it's not our values. So a good question to ask is this narcissism? Is this, oh, look at me, look at my great life. Look at what I've achieved. Look how much I've got. I think we can still say, look, I came up with something really great. I've got something that's going to really help you. And here's some examples of how it's helped me. And here's some ways it's helped other people. And I feel a lot better having figured this out. And I really want to share it with you. That is convincing, but it doesn't also have to be positioned in a way that is like creating that sort of us and them. And this is so amazing. Wouldn't you want this? Showing glam and riches and things like that. So that was so great to figure that out. And that's why I wanted to share it with you, because if you're selling and you're using all the really strong techniques for helping people see the transformation, see what's possible, using examples so that they can like sink into those details a bit more, projecting what they could potentially get out of their investment. I mean, that has to happen, and that's always had to happen in sales, and it's the only way we can sell. And we can't omit those kinds of things if we truly believe in them. However, we don't have to grow even further and cross the line by doing something that we feel is not our values. And that's positioning this sort of, look at me, look at everything I've got. And that is narcissistic. And that is what is creating a rift, I think, in our culture. And a lot of cultures, because there's a lot of us and them going on. And I know that's been happening for a while, but now we see it all on social media all the time. And I find it troubling, and I don't want to be part of that. So how do you not be a part of that, you can really start to sink into, well, what is effective in sales and how do you do it in a way that makes people feel that like they're excited to achieve something, but it isn't because you are dangling something at them that is subliminally making them feel like what they have is not enough and undermining their confidence. And that is where I think we can know where that line is and not be so afraid of that line that we're going way too far in the other direction and not doing anything and just saying, here, take content, because that just undermines ourselves, our value. We don't sell enough. More people who are doing the glam and the dangling do sell because people are willing to buy things because they want growth and change, but they're going to buy them from them because they're actually giving them the full opportunity to see what's possible. And then we're not doing any of it. And then we're not selling anything. And then we're just working for barely anything. And that's not healthy. And that doesn't help good people with good intentions and good values develop their leadership, become better leaders, have more influence in a way that is more healthy and beneficial to the world. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to keep it a little short and simple and just have you think about, like, what is that for you? Can you put your best forward to actually get people to really believe in what you offer and see it, believe in themselves without crossing that line? And are you willing to do it? And if you are, you will want to sign up for my workshop that's coming up in a few weeks. All access to that and invites will be on my website. So make sure you sign up to my free training to get into my list. You can get that, the 3 secrets to learning how to create a profitable membership. And yeah, you're going to see me do my sales thing in there. And I would love to hear what you think of that as well. So you can do that at scalingdeep.com/freebie. And yeah, let's keep the conversation going because I think it's really time to start talking about this stuff and not just saying that everything is bad and BS. Let's just find our way around it, our solution, so we feel good about what we do and how we do it, and we get it out there into the world. So see you on the other side of my awesome vacay. I hope you have a good one. See you real soon.